You know, Disney back in May or June or whatever, back in 2018, I really had your back. I've had your Disney. I've loved Disney Star Wars. I really have. I really enjoyed The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Where do we have this crap? I hate it when I'm trying to look for a Blu-ray and I can't find it. There you go, yeah. Frick, yeah, I love this movie. And I have The Last Jedi back here. I don't feel like getting it out. I love these movies. So let's review the mother-fricking Rise of Skywalker.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar.
Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. The amount of anticipation I had for this movie. I've never been so let down. So Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is the 9th Star Wars film, technically 11th actually, and it's the conclusion to the new sequel trilogy of Star Wars. First you had Force Awakens, then you had Last Jedi. Everybody was kind of on board with The Force Awakens when it came out, then as time went on, people started to turn on it. Then The Last Jedi, people were divided on that second came out. Some people loved it, some people hated it. They hated each other over it. Solo was the extent of people basically yelling at Disney, hey, here we'll show you a lesson, you lose $200 million. And now Disney's like, how about let's try and please everybody? Let's do The Rise of Skywalker. Good luck. And I'm just going to flat out say it. I've enjoyed every Disney Star Wars movie up to this point. I really, really enjoyed The Force Awakens. In fact, I think that movie is 10 out of 10. I haven't reviewed it because I've given my thoughts enough on it to the extent where a review just doesn't feel right. But I really enjoy it. I think it really calls back to Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars to me. It's really entertaining, really enjoyable. I got a lot of emotions out of it. Is it the perfect movie? No, but I love it, and I remember watching it back when I was 10 and thinking it was fantastic. And I love that movie, 10 out of 10. Last Jedi is great too. I really love the bold decisions made in that movie. I think Rian Johnson took a lot of good directions. It works on its own better than it does work with The Force Awakens, definitely The Rise of Skywalker. But overall, I thought it was a sufficiently good film, entertaining, had good pacing. The plot between Luke, Rey, and Kylo, I cannot get enough of. That was the reason I was excited for The Rise of Skywalker. I really love that movie. I'd probably give it a 9 because I still think there are some really dumb things that happen in that movie. Now we're at The Rise of Skywalker. And my anticipation for this film was really high about a week ago, and then reviews poured in, and well, I've been very nervous for this film recently. I didn't really know what I was going to get out of this movie, because I went in thinking, well, I enjoyed the last two, so maybe I'll enjoy this one. And another part of me is like, well, it has bad reviews, and usually you agree with the reviews, and Jeremy Johns got #1 on trending for this. So maybe you won't like it. So I went into this film pretty open-minded, didn't know if I'd love it, didn't know if I'd hate it. Who boy, I am sorry, Star Wars fans, for ever calling you stupid for hating Disney Star Wars. If we break down what I like the direction some characters are brought. I think this movie, okay, I don't want to get into issues right now, so I'm not going to. I like some of the decisions made with the characters. The acting is all very solid, especially from Daisy Ridley. She kills it. She's really good in this movie. All the actors are very good. I was never thinking about it. But the visual effects are great. The action is very well choreographed. And all of that, there's a lot that works about this movie. And yeah, like Jeremy Johns said, there's good visual effects and some cool action and some good nostalgic moments. And I hate to say that's all this movie offers. I freaking don't know how this happened. But I could genuinely say full-heartedly, I kind of hated The Rise of Skywalker. I think this movie just does so much wrong. Just does way more wrong than it did right. I'm just going to flat out say it. This movie can be split up into 3 acts very distinctively. The first act is god-awful. It's so bad. It's like they rushed into the film. I literally, after the opening crawl, I turned to my brother and I said, what the frick? After the first 10 minutes, I was I don't even know what's going on. It makes no sense. It's just shoving information in your face, just doing this. It's jumping everywhere. It makes no damn sense. And then eventually, the film slows down, and it starts to get more interesting, starts to get a bit more simple. It focuses on Rey, focuses on Kylo, focuses on that dynamic there. And then it starts to kind of work in that area. And you know what I started feeling? I started feeling excitement. I started to see, cool, I like where we're going with Kylo. I think Kylo is very well handled in this movie till the end. I was really excited. Okay, I really like what we're doing with Kylo. I like what we're doing with Rey. I like what we're doing with this. I like what we're doing that. Let's get to the conclusion. Smack dab, the conclusion sucks. So that's my review for this movie. I feel like I shouldn't have said all that right there. It's very hard to review a movie like this where I can't spoil it. I can't go out and tell you what's super wrong with this movie. I'm totally going to make a spoiler. I'm going to rip this to shreds. But it's weird going into a film with, like, a week ago thinking I could get a 10 out of 10 perfect film and walking out just not having a perfect film in any way. It's like, there are good things about this movie that worked. I enjoyed it at times, but that's not what's going to stick with me. What's going to stick with me is the fact that everything I was excited for to come to a head just fell apart. Like, it just fell apart. It's just at my feet. I'm just looking at this crumbled mess and I'm thinking, well, you had a really great first movie. You had a really great second movie. You didn't have at first a good second movie. I wouldn't even call this a good movie. If you took this first 2 second acts, it's still not a good movie. Like, the first 2 acts, still not a good movie. But I'm like, okay, you can fix it at the third act, and then it just third acts. It's not good. It's not good. Won't go much into this detail, but I remember a lot of people complaining about how in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi there were a lot of unexplained force powers, which will annoy me, but I don't think J.J. Abrams listened to the criticism of The Last Jedi. That's all I'm going to say. There are some force powers in this movie that when I saw them, I thought, what? How? I feel like when I was watching this movie, if it wanted me to feel the emotion it was trying to get at, I never did, because there are some scenes in this film where just something happens and I just thought, what? Like, how? Like, how is the Emperor alive? How? Like, why is that there? Why did they do that? How did that? It makes no damn sense. Like, you could say The Last Jedi makes no sense, but it's coherent. It's like this movie, just so much unexplained crap happens in this movie. I don't know why. It's like, I know Colin Trevorrow had the original script. When we saw the credits, I saw his name up there. Also, the audience clapped at the beginning of this movie and didn't clap at the end. What does that say? But, like, after those opening credits, it says story by Colin Trevorrow, and I thought, does he still have script writing on this movie? Because that makes sense why it's such a bad script. Because he's not a good writer at all. He's actually quite an awful writer. I have no idea. It's genuinely embarrassing that he got a script for Jurassic Worlds, like both Jurassic Worlds, and he even got a taste at Star Wars 9. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, how the hell is, like, this guy getting any job? Because, literally, I'm going to say Fallen Kingdom's one of the worst scripts of the decade. I don't know if I'd say Rise of Skywalker is one of the worst of the decade, because there's things that work, but it's like, incoherent mess, so who cares? Also, talking about butchering characters, Finn could be so much better. In fact, he is one of the most interesting. Other than Kylo Ren, whom I really dug what they were doing, but they just did not end his character off well. Like, they did not end his arc well at all. Finn is really bad. Like, he's an enjoyable character, obviously. I didn't hate watching him on screen. But the decisions they make with his character, just like he had some arc in the first one about being a stormtrooper. It's a really strong arc. Second one, it's continued. It's like he gets a new arc. He's like, okay, now he's a rebel, now he's going to do that. What is his arc in the third one? Well, it's not really complete. It's like set up. And it just doesn't finish because the film is focusing on this other arc. So now Finn has this incomplete arc. He's just a side character. He's just there. There's this thing, I'm not going to spoil, but there's this thing set up, and then we're not given an answer. I don't even know why they set it up, because it's not even an answer. It's like, this feels very first draft. And it has maybe a 300, I don't know what the budget is, but it's a huge budget. And it feels like a first draft. What the heck? Also, God, frick the Emperor. I didn't like him at all in this movie. He is so disconnected from the film. Because, like, he's not menacing. I never felt threatened by him. I felt more threatened by Kylo Ren. I never really feel threatened by Kylo Ren because, Adam Driver is just not a threatening guy. But, like, when he has the mask on, he's a bit threatening. Kylo Ren's far more threatening than the Emperor. Like, in Return of the Jedi, he has this presence. He feels real. He feels there. In this movie, he's, like, in the dark the entire time. And he just, like, says these creepy lines. And it's not good. He's just not in it. Like, I just was bored by his character. Every time I was talking, I just thought, can we move on? Can we just get to the next thing? Can we get to, like, Kylo's arc, which doesn't really work? Like, can we just keep going? But no, he jarbles on, and his exposition makes no sense, and it's really bad. And I just didn't like him. I just don't think... I feel like, obviously, they just wanted Snoke in this movie. If J.J. Abrams is like, no, it was the plan the whole time. No, it wasn't. Frick you. You wanted Snoke in this movie. He just died in The Last Jedi at a brilliant death. Now it's just like, no, hold up. We got the Emperor, he's got to be in the movie because we don't have any other idea, and we need some powerful figure, because we literally have to copy Return of the Jedi. I swear to God, there were some times in this movie where it's not like Force Awakens, where it feels like Force Awakens takes ideas from A New Hope and puts them in a new tone. There's a specific thing that happens in the third act of this movie that I thought, that is right from, that's like carbon copy Return of the Jedi. I don't know why they think that it's like you can do your own thing. How about that? No, they all three of these films do their own thing. It's like Force Awakens works on its own, Last Jedi works on its own, Rise of Skywalker does not work on its own, A, because it's not a good movie, and B, because it leeches off the other two, and if you haven't seen the other two, this movie would make no sense. Also, I was really disappointed by Leia. I mean, it makes sense. Like, I feel really bad for the writers that they had to write around this. It sucks. But, like, she does nothing in this movie. She's there for a bit. That's, like, all she does. She, like, doesn't really talk in the movie. She's, like, briefly in the film. She might have, like, a minute of screen time in this movie. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. You know, they have to edit around it. But, like, it's an important character. And I never really felt like she was in the movie. I just didn't really care for her, to be honest. And I would say I care for Rey's arc. I don't like the direction it goes in, but I'd say I care for it. But to be honest, at the third act, I was just more pissed off at all the horrible decisions that they made by that time in the film. It's like, first act was way too fast, just way too clunky, wasn't really any interesting. Second act, it got a lot more interesting, got a lot more intriguing. I liked the mystery of the film. The third act comes around and it kills everything, because why I like that second act is because I wanted to know what happened, and now I know what happened, and I'm like, oh, whatever, that was sucked. I really am excited to spoiler review this movie, because there's a lot of spoilers for it. Guys, in the end, I'm sorry for defending. I hate that I say this, but I had Disney Star Wars back. Disney, I had your back. I thought you could do this, but clearly you couldn't. You had to appeal to everybody. You had to, like, make this movie that's just fan service, that's just a jarble mess. You wanted to do so much, but you just end up doing nothing. Because I'm not going to remember this movie. I'm never going to think about this movie again. I just watched the film and I was like, the entire time I was like, well, this movie just pisses me off. It's just like, it's just disappointment, the film. Like, look, I know I don't want to say this, but it's really true. This is the most I hate a Star Wars movie, because at least Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones are consistently awful. Like, at least they are just awful as a whole. Like, Rise of Skywalker has things going for it. Like, Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace barely have anything going for them. There's not really any cool ideas or anything in those movies. There are some cool ideas. I'm just saying, like, overall they suck. And they're worse in this movie. But, like, this movie, there are times in the movie where it tries to work. And it almost works. But it just backs down and it doesn't work. I thought I was going to like this movie because Jeremy Jahns did say that any fans of The Last Jedi and Force Awakens will enjoy the final one. But no, we don't enjoy the final one. At least I don't. Maybe so, I don't think fans will like this movie. Fans will tear this movie to shreds. And I don't like it. And to be honest, saying it'll open with 200 million is a joke. It won't. This movie is a failure, to be honest. I'm really disappointed. I've never been so disappointed by a film. I just didn't like really anything this movie did. I think it could have been so much better. J.J. Abrams, this is how Star Wars ends, guys. I had the back. I don't love Solo at this point. I had your back, and you went out and you Rise of Skywalker did. I'm going to give Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker a 3 out of 10. I hate. It hurts to say that, because it's like, I've never had so much hype for a film. I've never built it up and, like, watching the trailers over and over again, seeing the posters being just like, oh my gosh, it's happening. And then I see the film and I'm like, well, I'm going to forget about that tomorrow. It's just disappointing. I didn't think I'd hate this movie, but unfortunately I do. Should you see Rise of Skywalker? I almost want to say watch. It's not like a horrible experience to watch. I didn't have a horrible experience. I was just really annoyed by the film. But I think you could. I want people to watch it so we can all come together and make fun of the horrible decisions made in this movie. Some people will love it. Some people will hate it. And I'm, for once, for Disney Star Wars, I don't like this movie. And I think Disney could have. It's whatever. It's whatever. I'll make a spoiler review. I'll forget about this tomorrow. It sucks when it was one of my most anticipated of the year. And I really want to just say, at the end of last year's Top 10 Best, I said guaranteed the top 2 best movies of the year be Endgame and Rise of Skywalker. I was so wrong, because Endgame's great. It's in my top 10, but, like, it's not even my favorite of the year. And Rise of Skywalker is a bad movie, which I never thought I'd say, but I'm saying it. So yeah, what did you guys think on Star Warrior: The Rise of Skywalker? Let me know in the comment section below. I don't know how many views it's gonna get. Let's go through some reviews. The Two Popes. I'll talk about that Tenet trailer, which I saw at the movie. It was sick. Aeronauts review. Two Popes. Cats. Hopefully I'll finally see Parasite. So that's a lot of really great movies on the table. Little Women will also be next week, and then we end the year off. The last review will be Little Women, I promise that. And I might make another 4 review. I haven't watched 4 movies recently, so I don't think I will. But I'll review all these movies this week, and I have a lot of things I'm going to get to. So yeah, see you guys next time. I'm sad I'm making a negative review for Stardust. But Cats is this weekend, so I can't wait!